Warning: the host in this video is in no means encouraging the use of marijuana or any other substances. But if you so, however, already partake in these things, then please, by all means, continue.
Welcome back, peeps, to Stone Pro Campfire Wrestling Society. This is episode 3.5 versus 13 of the Stone Pro podcast. Today, I'm smoking on some, I actually don't know what I'm smoking on, but moving on. Today's Bible verse is from Genesis chapter 1, verse 5, and God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. Now, I'll be getting my information from the Bleacher Report. However, I did watch the show only because it's something me and the family have done for years now. So I'm trying to keep that alive. But hold up, let me hit my bong.
Digi Rewind.
Friday Night SmackDown 2/20/26, and I quote, after some backstage shots of people walking and a recap of last week's show, Cody Rhodes made his way to the ring for a promo as soon as he asked what the crowd wanted to talk about. Jacob Fatu's music hit and he came to the ring looking very serious. Fatu said he had Sami Zayn and Rhodes beat before Drew McIntyre got involved, and he said Cody knows it's the truth. He then called out McIntyre for a fight, which Rhodes did not seem too upset about. Nick Aldis showed up to say he gave Drew the night off because there is too much at stake heading into the chamber at WrestleMania. But McIntyre ended up showing up in the crowd anyway. Fatu tried to go into the crowd to get at him, but Aldis and security cut him off. Rhodes called McIntyre a name WWE had to censor to end their promo. This segment was all pretty average stuff. But whenever Fatu starts to get angry, he is very, very more fun to watch. He brought good energy to this, even if he didn't get his hands on McIntyre. Now, at the end there, I did mess up. He is way more fun to watch.
Digi Rewind.
The first match of the night saw Dragunov take on Tama Tonga. This comes just a week after Tonga and the MFTs defeated Dragunov and 3 other superstars in an 8-man tag team match, so the Mad Dragon was looking for some payback. Dragunov ran at Tonga and hit a boot to the face as soon as ref called for the bell. He hit a few chops in the corner before Tama took him down and started beating on him. Both of these men like working a very physical style, but they do it in different ways. Tama is more of a brawler, while Dragunov is a versatile competitor who does a little bit of everything. It didn't take them long to develop some chemistry. During the break, Tama dominated most of the action, while Tala Tonga, JC Mateo, and Solo Sikoa cheered him on from ringside. Dragunov began fighting back when the show returned. This was a solid match. Unfortunately, ended with some shenanigans when Loa provided a distraction so Tama could hit his finisher for the pin. Sikoa tried to give a promo when it was done, but Dragunov tried to attack him. The MFTs took him out with a 5-on-1 attack. Matt Cardona and Apollo Crews were also taken out when they tried to help. Uncle Howdy appeared on the big screen to taunt the MFTs. Result, Tonga Tama defeated Dragunov.
Digi Rewind.
Jade Cargill came to the ring and bragged about beating Jordan Grace. She addressed Liv Morgan and said she'll show up on Raw to hear her decision about who to face at WrestleMania. Jade had a lot of charisma, but she always has. In some ways, it feels like she hasn't changed at all since the first time we saw her in AEW, which can be both good and bad, depending on how you look at it. Cargill has remained consistent with her character, but she also hasn't made the kind of improvements one would expect after being in the business for a few years.
Digi Rewind.
The next match was another Elimination Chamber qualifier. This time, Jax, Flair, and James fought for a spot in the cage. All three of these women are in tag teams, but none of them had their partner in their corner. For some reason, Jax used her significant power advantage to put both opponents on the mat almost immediately, but a chop block from the Queen slowed her momentum. All three competitors were involved in most of the action, which isn't always common in matches like this. Sometimes we see one competitor take a break while the other two fight, and then someone swaps out. This had a couple of fun moments, but James picking Jax up for a Samoan drop was the highlight of the match. She is someone who WWE has failed to use to her fullest potential, so it was great to see her get a standout moment for once. She ended up sealing the win by pinning Flair while she had Jax in a figure four. This was a pretty surprising outcome, but it's nice to see James get an opportunity like this. Result, Kiana James defeated Flair and Jax.
Digi Rewind.
After getting on Femi's backside last week, Wilson found himself in another match with the Ruler on Friday. Wilson grabbed the mic and said he wanted to read Femi a poem he wrote, which was an ode to Oba. It was a very simple poem, but Oba said he liked it and asked for another. Wilson read him an older poem that didn't go over as well, so Femi brought him into the ring the hard way. The Ruler proceeded to destroy Wilson with a few moves before hitting his finisher for the victory. This was barely a match. The poetry reading lasted longer than the fight. WWE needs to find something more substantial for Femi soon, because he is too good to be wasted in segments like this. Result, Femi defeated Wilson.
Digi Rewind.
With Green still being injured, Fire had to push her wheelchair to the ring so she could watch her match with Stratton. Fire tried to take control with an arm drag right away, but Tiffany quickly recovered and put her in a headlock. For a little while, she showed off her agility with some leapfrogs and backflips. Chelsea cheered on Fire when she got the upper hand, heading into the commercial break. When the show returned, Stratton was back in the driver's seat. While there may not have been anything bad about this, it's hard to say that it was good. It felt like they were just going through the motions at times, which made it hard to get invested. On top of that, the outcome was as predictable as it gets based on based on how both have been booked. It was obvious Stratton would win before the match even got started. Tiffany hit the prettiest moonsault ever for the win, much to Green's dismay. Result, Tiffany defeats Alba.
Digi Rewind.
Elimination Chamber qualifier took place this week with Hayes, Priest, and Williams fighting for a spot in the cage, with Hayes and Williams having so much shared history. Priest felt a bit like the odd man out in this one. Trick Willie tried to form an alliance with Hayes, but Miller wanted no part of it. Priest used his opportunity to hit both men with a clothesline to get the action started. All three men had some great moments in this match. Hayes used his agility to mix in some high-flying maneuvers between Priest and Williams, using mostly power moves. Williams was able to secure the win and his spot in the chamber by pinning Priest with the trick shot. Result: Williams defeated Priest and Hayes.
Digi Rewind.
Io Sky was originally announced as Julie's opponent for tonight, but for some reason WWE changed it to Ripley before the show. There was no explanation given, and Sky did not appear to be injured, so it's possible WWE wants Julia and Sky's first singles match to feel like a bigger deal when it happens. They started with a fierce lockup that saw both women get back into the ropes, but Julia took the chance to slap Ripley instead of making a clean break. As the show cut to a commercial, Ripley hit the ring post with her shoulder to give Julia the upper hand. While the Beautiful Madness has been a great performer since coming to WWE, it felt like this was one of the first times she got to show off how aggressive she can be, because Ripley is the kind of opponent who brings that out of people. Jax and Legend showed up and caused the match to come to an abrupt halt by attacking Ripley. Sky ran to the ring to make the save, obviously, and sent the attackers out of the ring. This was a weird way to end what was a pretty good match. Julia basically disappeared as soon as Jax showed up. Result: no contest.
Digi Rewind.
After getting into an argument backstage, Randy Orton and Aleister Black ended up in the main event of this week's show. They started with running the ropes and countering each other before both men took their signature pose for a standoff. As the show went to a break, the Viper hit a clothesline to send Black out of the ring. Orton hit his draping DDT and had Black in place for the RKO, but the Dutch Destroyer rolled out of the ring to avoid it. The Viper hit another DDT on the floor, but while the ref was looking away, McIntyre showed up and nailed Orton with the WWE title. Rhodes chased McIntyre out of the arena, but the damage was done. One Black Mass kick was enough to put Orton down for the 3 count. Result: Black defeated Orton. But that's all I got for you peeps today. It wasn't a single thing I enjoyed, or at least I can remember, besides Trick Williams, to be honest. If y'all enjoyed this recap, please subscribe to Sora Above the Sky and like this video and comment. Or if you hated it, dislike this video and comment why down below. I have been your host, Sora Above the Sky, from Stone Pro Campfire Wrestling Society. Signing off. You have a blessed day, peeps. Peace out.